Okay, so this is the first reaction video of our new YouTube segment where me and Ross take turns picking a movie or a television show for then the other has to watch and react to. Ross was kind enough to pick Miss Meadows. Now, this movie is hot garbage. 5.7 on IMDb, I think it was a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes and 43 on Metacritic. It's starring Katie Holmes and that guy from The Departed. You know, that guy, the guy that's not Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Martin Sheen, Anthony Anderson, though he does kill Anthony Anderson, and Alec Baldwin. You know, that guy. That guy everyone remembers from The Departed. The other cop that's in Jack Nicholson's pocket that's not Matt Damon. Um, this movie, I texted Ross after I watched it, and I said, the more I think about it, the angrier I get. Now, why would a movie make me so angry? Well, it's because I review movies for a hobby, and this one sucks. There's no reason a movie this insane should be as boring as it is. Like, it was marketed as like a Death Wish kind of, where Katie Holmes plays a substitute teacher who is a vigilante in her off hours, and they ask a lot of questions on like, can convicts be rehabilitated after jail, but answer them in no actual manner. Like they don't actually put the thought into it. They have her kill some guy at the very start of the movie who points a gun at her and says, basically, get in the car with me or I'm going to shoot you. And that was actually a fairly cool opening. Like, she just whips out a small gun and shoots the dude right in the throat. And I was like, whoa, I have high hopes for this movie to at least be entertaining. And it wasn't. It wasn't entertaining. So, some of the things that go down in this movie. Well, she takes over for a class, and the teacher dies of cancer that she is substituting for. And she has the class kind of do a whole ceremony for it, and she's trying to encourage the class. And everything after that, like, you're dealing with, like, kind of day-to-day life for the first 45 minutes or so. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen Death Wish, but some crazy shit goes down in the first 45 minutes. She shoots a dude in the throat once, and then it becomes a rom-com? Kind of? Now, Katie Holmes' character starts to develop a relationship with James Badgedale, who is said guy from The Departed, and he plays the sheriff in town. And they go on a date. You find out he wants to be an accordion player, and she gets up and starts tap dancing in the park to his accordion that he is not playing. And it's supposed to be cute, but it just comes off as really weird. And they proceed to have sex after they meet each other in church. Yeah, that happens. And this is the single most off-putting sex scene I think I've ever seen. Not because it's like overly showing or anything like that, but because Katie Holmes acts like she pretty much has never had sex before, and she laughs like, if you ever saw the Simpsons movie, Lisa Simpson meets this Irish kid who's also like a environmental activist, and he compliments her and she lets out this really awkward laugh and then faints, which works in the Simpsons movie. When it does not work is during sex. Now, male lead is like, hey, that was amazing. I'm like, how? The second you hear that laugh, you go soft. It's not, like, it is not possible to continue with sex when said person you are having sex with makes the sounds that Katie Holmes makes. Like, I don't understand it. I was fixated on it for most of the movie. Like, I had a hard time paying attention to the rest of the movie because this sex scene was so goddamn weird. Now, other things happen in the movie. so they go out and do the ceremony for the teacher who had passed away, and during the class she is going to go get food for the class. And when she goes into the place she wants to get food from, she finds a shooter that killed everyone there. And she's basically tells him to kill himself, and he goes to point his gun at her, and then she pulls out her little pistol and shoots him. Second death in the movie, and I want to say it takes place at like the 50-minute mark. Now, I came here for an insane action movie, and I am not. They're not delivering in the slightest. Um, Now the cops that she's dating starts to figure out that she's this vigilante that's kind of been going around the country killing convicts. You find out that a bunch of convicts were like released and moved into the neighborhood she's living in, and the question again is raised, like, can a convict come out of prison and be a productive member of society? And they take no at no point do they actually give a thoughtful response to that question. Um, the rest of the movie goes on. This guy with a dog, and like they purposely make him a dick to the dog because if they didn't, they would make Katie Holmes like the total villain in this. Um, and yeah, this guy's like a dick to his dog and kind of seems creepy around the kids. So Katie Holmes brings muffins and tea to his house and basically threatens his life if he ever comes near the kids. And he goes, "Hey, you should get a therapist." And that's probably true. She should have a therapist because she's utterly insane in this movie. And he eventually comes after her at the end, though I'm not sure he would have done that if she didn't go to his house and threaten him. Um, so yeah, they don't really do, outside of making him a dick to the dog, which I mean we all hate people who are dicks to dogs. Um, they don't really paint him as like they paint her as more of the threatening and the antagonizing figure in that scenario, but he's supposed to be like the main villain of the movie. And some other things that are going on in this. She talks on the phone with her mom a lot, though we find out towards the end of the movie her mom is actually dead and she's talking to herself on the phone. Now, and we find out that she witnessed her mom get shot in a random act of violence, and that's why she's a vigilante, which is honestly a terrible twist because it would have been way cooler if the mom had kind of taught her this behavior, not she witnessed her mom die and kind of went off the deep end a little bit. I would have much rather the twist never happened. She also kills a priest who was molesting one of her students, which he was the third person she killed. So, guy at the start of the movie, guy who shoots up a restaurant, and guy who molests kids. I'm like, all three of them were fine kills. They all get shot with her little pistol. But outside of that, the sheriff kills the main bad guy who has her kind of captured at the end. And then after her and the sheriff have a baby after one round of in the sheets, and it was a very awkward round in the sheets, so that happened. And they get married, and it's implied that he goes on to play the accordion and she goes on to continue being a vigilante. I think that's the ending, pretty much. But yeah, don't watch this movie. It's not even worth like a wow, that was so insane and entertaining watch, because it's like one of the longest 90 minutes I've ever sat through. It was really terrible, and I haven't forgiven Ross yet for making me watch it. Like, I gotta pick out something bad for Ross to watch next week. So, speaking of next week, I do get to make Ross watch our next thing to react to, and I am going to make him watch the anime Ghost Story, specifically the English dub. Now, stay tuned for my explanation on that. Thanks, bye.